Hey everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. Okay, you guys, so there is so much going on, and I've just realized that if I'm just totally transparent and honest with you guys on what's going on behind the scenes, it just makes it so much easier for me to kind of explain things to you without going too far, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to share too much, but there's a lot going on right now. We are actually packing up. Actually, we're all packed. The girls are literally sitting on their suitcases inside. We are going on a trip. We are about to leave. We're going to leave here in a couple hours, and we are going to England again. Well, I'm going to England again. The girls and Jason are going to England for the first time. And I know this is absolutely crazy. Okay, long story short, I went in March with Haddonstone, the fountain company, garden ornament company, Castone company, I should say. And the trip went so well. They are such a cool company. They're so much fun to work with, and we just love working together. And so it ended up that I decided, or I agreed to go back to England to film some content for their channels. So it's not going to be for my channel, it's going to be for their channels. And this is a really interesting thing with my YouTube channel, is that I get requests a lot to film content for other channels, and normally I don't like to do it because you know, obviously I want to focus on my own channel, but an opportunity like this, I just you know, it's England, you can't give up an opportunity. And Jason and I decided that the only way that I was going to go back to England again this year is if the girls were going to come with us. So very, very exciting, but I also don't want to forget about my channel. I filmed all the videos. There's not going to be another break, but I am not working in my garden today. I'm actually batch filming a couple videos right before we have to leave. I kind of waited till the last minute. But one of you left a comment in the comment section asking or saying that a great video would be to give a tree update. And I thought, what a perfect video to film right before I leave for England when we have all this other stuff going on. So we moved into this house exactly 3 years ago. Like literally almost to the day, exactly 3 years ago. And lots has changed in the past 3 years, but in about 2 years, we have planted the majority of our trees. And I want to say we probably have like 40 trees we've planted, maybe 50 trees we've planted over the past 3 years. And some of them are struggling, as you can see my Podocarpus hedge. Some of them are doing fantastic. And I thought I would take you through and show you guys some trees that I've planted in my Zone 9B garden and talk about how they're doing after just 2 years. It's only been 2 years, so most of them are still babies. They still have a lot of growing to do, but it's kind of fun to see how much they've grown in the last 2 years. So anyway, just bear with me over the next week or so. You know, I have all the videos and everything like that. I'm not planning to do too much filming in England. However, I do have some free days where I don't have to work with Haddonstone, and my family and I were going to Sissinghurst, and we're going to Great Dixter, and I'm so excited. And I thought maybe I'll get some footage and show you guys if I have time. I want to keep it, you know, like family and you know, keep it close to my heart, but I just want to share it with you guys so much. So anyway, let me get back to the tree tour. I'll talk more about this in another video. Okay, so I might as well get started here in the back garden, and just looking at the before and after shots for before these trees were planted and before the fountain was installed. It's just crazy. Everything's changed. So about 2 years ago, we planted this October Glory maple. Now for full size, it can get up to 40 to 50 feet tall and 30 to 40 feet wide. And so it is going to be a true shade tree back here, which is desperately needed, let me tell you. I am not even worried. I know when I talk about trees and I talk about how big the trees are going to get, people, the immediate response is, isn't that going to shade out everything? Yes, but that's a good thing. That is a good thing for us here because we have so much sun in our garden. Our garden is so open. I'm craving more shade for sure. So it will be a welcome thing once these guys are nice and big. And then this one over here, we actually planted exactly 1 year later from this one. And it was just because I hadn't planned on doing this whole symmetrical setup. And as soon as I started working with Haddonstone and I knew that I was going to put the fountain here, you know, Michael and I were talking and we knew we needed to do a second October Glory maple over here. So this one I actually paid up for and got it in a big box and actually had arborists come and plant it. And oh my goodness, this is a year younger than this one, and this one is maybe a foot taller. Maybe a foot taller. So, you know, if you have money to spend, you know, it's definitely worth it. And this one actually, I think, looks better. It's been pruned better than what I've done with this one. This one I'm still planning to limit up. I have my Haddonstone statue right here. This is Winter, and I am planning to limb up the maple so it kind of curves over her. So I think this will look really pretty. But I have to say, I am loving these trees. I am loving them. And they're called October Glory maples because they do turn red even in our weather here in California. There's not a lot of trees that get fall color for us. October Glory maples are one of them. Chinese pistache is one of my favorites. But that's not why I actually love this tree. I love this tree because it's such a classic maple looking tree, like a shade tree. And I can just remember my childhood looking up through the branches of maple trees and just, you know, dreaming about, you know, watching the clouds and dreaming about things. And I want that in my garden. And so as these guys grow up, it's going to provide more and more shade. And it's just, I'm just very, very excited about it. So anyways, that is the October Glory maple. And I will say it is classified as a fast grower. Now, one of the most common trees I'm going to show you guys in my tree tour today is Podocarpus gracilior. And Podocarpus is an evergreen for us. So when a lot of places have like thuyas or other conifers, here in California, this is our tree. This is the Podocarpus. Now, I don't want you guys to look at my hedge because my hedge isn't the most beautiful thing. This is a transplanted hedge of Podocarpus that I got from another garden, and I've lost some. And actually, I'm going to have another tree planting session this fall with Michael Glassman. We're going to go to the wholesale nursery and pick out a bunch of trees and fill in the gaps that I have here. But I'm happy with how many I got. I mean, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got about 15 really nice Podocarpus trees for free that I was able to transplant. So it was just great, but you can see I did lose some of them, and I was trying to like limp them along, but with our heat, it's just, it's just not working. So anyways, now this is another one that you guys have to just hold your breath when I say the stats. These can get 35 to 45 feet tall, right? And you think, what? Jamie, there's trees, your neighbor's trees are here, and oh my goodness, how is that going to work? 35 to 45 feet tall, 25 to 35 feet wide. I know, it's crazy. However, remember, these are these are so commonly planted as a hedge tree, and it is so easy to prune these. I've seen it so many times in gardens, garden tours, public gardens, having these trees as a hedge. Now, eventually my plan is to have an arborist come and shear back all of my neighbor's trees once these guys get a little bit bigger, so that the Podocarpus can come up and they can be my hedge, and then those trees can stay on my neighbor's side. And so it's going to work really well. Just trust me. Trust Michael Glassman, because he's the one who told me to do this. Now, I have other trees, other Podocarpus gracilior trees all around my property as well, and I've spotted them throughout. I have, I think I have 3 over here in the orchard garden, and then I have 6 over on the long border. And they have grown so much, you guys. We planted them 2 years ago, and we planted them, they were 6 to 7 feet tall, very, very small, 15 gallons. And now look at how tall this is. It's really hard to give you guys how tall it is, but I'm going to say this is probably like 15 to 18 feet tall and nice and thick. And if you guys can see the new growth on here. So this one's going to grow up really, really beautifully and be a nice hedge. And again, I'm going to prune it so that it just hugs the fence and just blocks out like that view over there. There's like an airport across the street, and there's wires, telephone wires, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's just going to block the view, which is going to be great. So I have those Podocarpus dotted all around, and I love them. Now here's another tree that I planted a little bit later than a lot of the other trees. This is my Eureka lemon tree, and this one, I gotta say, it like doubled in size since I planted it. It is so incredibly happy here. Lemon trees do really well for us. Orange trees do really well for us. You know, like fruit trees do really well for us here in California. We are very, very spoiled. But this one, I decided to do a Eureka lemon instead of a Meyer lemon because I really want a full tree. This is what I call my orchard garden. And so to me, it was just so appropriate to have a nice big lemon tree right here. Yes, it's going to get tall and it's going to give some more shade, but again, I need more shade here. It's actually a really beautiful day today with nice cloud cover, but normally it's so hot, it's so bright, and so having a little bit more shade will be very, very welcome. So Eureka lemons get bigger than Meyer lemons. These guys will get about 20 feet tall and about 8 to 15 feet wide, and you really can prune it so it's a beautiful tree. Plus you get all the lemons on it, which is so nice. Eureka lemons are my favorite lemons to eat, actually. To me, they taste the most like lemons as opposed to Meyer lemons. So this one is just doing absolutely beautifully. I do want to point out this one right here. This is the Angel Wings Lebanon cedar from Isley. You guys, this tree is incredible. If you live in a hot environment like I do, it's really hard for us to get this conifer, like this weird look of trees. Up in Oregon and Washington, they have these kind of trees in a darker version. I'm blanking on the name, but I'm going to put the name on the screen right now. And I love the look of those trees, but there's no way we can grow that here. But these, Isley told me that it would do well in my hot climate, and it absolutely has done well. It's just this like weird, weeping, kind of gangly tree, but I just think it gives so much interest, right? Especially right here on the berm, you know, in the front yard. So this one will get approximately 20 feet tall in 10 years, right? These numbers that Isley gives, these are the 10-year numbers, because when it comes to conifers will just continue growing as time goes on. So anytime you hear a number for a conifer, it's the 10-year mark. So in 10 years, this one will be about 20 feet tall, about 10 to 15 feet wide. So very, very narrow. It's not even going to get to the edge of this bed, which I think is really neat. And I just think it is the coolest tree. I absolutely love it. Now, another tree that Isley grows is also this Chandler cypress. This guy right here. So this is another upright conifer type tree. This one will get approximately 25 feet tall and 12 feet wide. So it's definitely going to touch the gazebo, but just touch the gazebo. But I like that. I'm happy with that. I like the color of the tree, especially compared to everything else. Doesn't this look so good right now? I mean, it just looks so good. So I like this darkness. I like that it's giving some winter interest. Here's one thing I don't like about this tree. I don't like the spider webs that I get on it. And these are not spider mites. These are actually spider webs. Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully you guys can see them. No, you definitely can see them. They're not spider mites. It's just spiders living in this tree. And they're just super, super happy in this tree. So I don't know. I don't know how to keep these spiders out of the tree. These are the same spider webs that I get on my arborvitae, right? And it's fine. It's totally fine. It's also that time of year when the spiders tend to come out in the mornings and stuff like that. So I know that it's worse than it normally is. But I still, like, I feel like I knock these spider webs off this tree so often. Okay, then I'm going to move on to the next beautiful tree I have. I love this one so much. This is the Rising Sun Redbud. And this, oh, you guys, this tree is so incredibly beautiful. So this tree's 2 years old. It's going to get 8 to 12 feet tall and 8 to 12 feet wide. I would say it's probably like 10 feet tall right now. So it just has a little bit more growing to do. I have another one. I'm going to pan over this way. I have another one over here that's not doing as well as the one on the left. This one got really knocked by a windstorm that we had earlier this year. Really had a rough time with it. So I had to prune a lot back. But this one is just looking so beautiful. So the new growth on this one comes out orange and apricot, which gives it the look of a rising sun. And I mean, so the sun rises like just past over there, like just over there. And with the rising sun, behind the rising sun redbud, it is the most beautiful thing, you guys. I just love it so much. So this is a really fun tree. It's a relatively new variety of redbud. And I have to say, it does so well compared to some of my other redbuds. A lot of my other redbud, well, not a lot of them. One of my other redbuds, my lavender twist redbud, really gets a lot of, it's just not happy in the place that it's in. I need to move it this fall. But this one is so happy, and it is so incredibly beautiful. I would say the only drawback to this one is it's deciduous. You know what? I should really start saying which ones are deciduous and which ones are evergreen. The Podocarpus is evergreen. The Lebanon cedar is evergreen. The Eureka lemon is evergreen. Actually, the October Glory maple is deciduous, right? Meaning it loses its leaves in the fall. Then right next to the rising sun redbud, we planted 2 years ago, we planted this little gem magnolia, which is actually blooming right now, which is so fun. Everyone this is another plant, like, it's so funny to realize how, specific scent is to every person, because people talk about how good this smells, and this is another one of those plants or trees that I can't smell. So I can't smell little gem magnolia. I can't smell the El Nino Chitalpa right behind it. I can't smell Verbena de la Mina, but people talk about how good this one smells. I can't smell it, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, little gem magnolia is an evergreen variety of magnolia. It does not lose its leaves in the winter. So this is another evergreen for us, and it's actually a really common evergreen for us here in California, along with the Podocarpus. And like, you can see why. It's got that bronzy tinge on the underside of the leaves. It's so beautiful. It's called little gem because it does stay a little bit smaller than other magnolia trees, but not that small. It gets 20 to 25 feet tall, 10 to 15 feet wide, potentially can get up to 30 feet tall if it's super happy. I don't think I'll ever get this up to 30 feet tall, but it's just a gorgeous evergreen. I mean, you can imagine, like, when the rising sun redbud has lost its leaves, when my purple pillar rose of Sharon has lost its leaves, the El Nino Chitalpa's lost its leaves, I'm still gonna have this little gem magnolia here, and it's still gonna look really pretty. And then, speaking of winter interest, I have this weeping Atlas cedar that is also going to be incredible winter interest. And it's so funny to think of, because 2 years ago when I planted this tree, this was like the star of the show in the center island. This was so beautiful in the center island, and now it's totally tucked in among other trees and plants, and I feel like it's not getting the love that it totally deserves, but it's still really pretty, and I'm starting to get new growth on it, which is super fun, because once you get the new growth, that's when it starts looking all crazy and gangly, and I love that. So this one, eventually, it is the slowest grower, but eventually it can get 15 feet tall and wide, and I have actually seen full sizes of these at a house that I drove by here in town, and it was the coolest thing. They had one of these in their front yard, and that is all they had. It was so incredibly beautiful. And then the homeowner, it was a patient of mine when I was still a physical therapist, the homeowner was talking about removing it, and I almost lost it. I was like, you cannot remove it. It is so beautiful. And I think I convinced him. I have to drive by and see if he's left it. So anyway, this one is really gorgeous. It does take some training. You do have to kind of trim it and take care of it. But luckily, I have a friend named Michael who is a genius taking care of these. I always think of him when I think of a tree like this, and so he can help me. Okay, and then let's talk about my Tuscarora crepe myrtles. They're still blooming a little bit here in August, end of August, but they're coming to the end of their bloom season. June, July, beginning of August, they are so incredibly beautiful and bright colored. They just bring so much color to a garden. I just love crepe myrtles. I'm so happy that I can grow crepe myrtles in my California garden. So Tuscaroras, this variety can get 20 to 25 feet tall and 15 to 20 feet wide. And my goal is for these two hopefully one day to touch in the middle. I mean, I feel like that's a stretch. I almost wish I planted them a little bit closer, but I think eventually one day they'll get there. They are fast growers, and that's why mine are still staked up, because they have grown so fast. They've grown faster than their trunks have gotten sturdy. And so that's a common thing with crepe myrtles, is you do have to stake them. And they're not tightly staked, so they can still sway with the wind. You can see this one over here is kind of knocked over a little bit, but eventually they'll get strong enough to be able to hold themselves. And I just think they're going to be incredible specimens. They are deciduous. They do lose their leaves, and they do get, one thing you guys have to think about, if it's sticky underneath your crepe myrtles, look for crepe myrtle aphids, which is a very common thing that happens and people don't know a lot about it. It's a very easy fix. Just have an arborist come, or I think you can get access to the fix yourself. But if it's sticky underneath your crepe myrtles, you probably have crepe myrtle aphids. Okay, so not the prettiest looking part of my garden. There's lots of weeds. There's some dead plants. It's not the prettiest, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. What I want to talk about and have you guys focus on is the Deodar cedar that I have planted here. This was one of the first trees that I planted in my garden, and I'm so happy I did, because one, I love Deodar cedars. I think their shape, their form is so pretty. They can handle our heat. They do get about 40 to 50, maybe 60 feet tall. And I'm sure you guys can guess why I planted it here, to block out the phone pole, the power line pole right there. And so that's the goal, is for it to grow. It gets 25 to 40 feet wide, which it's really hard to tell, but I've measured it. It's perfect. It's just going to be just right in front of this phone pole right here, and absolutely perfect. It says it's a moderate to fast grower. I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I should say it is a fast grower, because it's probably doubled in size since we planted it. So yes, I should say it's a fast grower, but just not fast enough for me. I just want it to grow a little faster. So anyway, I love this tree. Now behind here, we have a very sad hedge of yardline viburnum. And if you guys saw earlier this spring, I transplanted them. I moved some from behind my weeping willow. I moved some over here. They were doing well. And then we had a heat wave and they croaked. They're dead. And, oh, you guys, this hedge is killing me. I have to say, it's not the yardline viburnum's fault, right? I think the yardline viburnum is a really good plant. I don't think it's a good plant for me here. This is just way too hot, way too much sun. I don't know. I hate to poo-poo on a plant, but it's been 2.5 years now, and there's just not much to show for it. You know what I mean? That I did plant them really, really small, so they have gotten about 4 times the size. They grow so fast, you guys, and they are going to get up to 12 feet tall. But I just don't have enough specimens to go all the way across. They're just not looking very good right now. And, it just gets to the point that sometimes I just have to call it. And I think I'm going to call it on these yardline viburnum. Sadly, I really, really wanted them to work here, but unfortunately, I don't think they're going to work. What is working, how's that for a segue? What is working is my Chinese pistache. I love these trees, and you can see my big one back there. That was here when we moved in. I wanted another one up here. It's going to get huge. I mean, that tree back there is like 50 years old. So in like 50 years, it'll be that tall. But this one right here is absolutely gorgeous. And this one is going to eventually it says 35 feet tall, but that one is definitely more than 35 feet tall, 30 feet wide. And the really incredible part about this tree is the fall color that we get. Here, we're just too warm. It's not cold enough to cue trees, a lot of trees, to get that fall color. And this is one of those trees that gives fall color so beautifully. So it's going to be really, really gorgeous once it all fills in, and it's finally starting to take hold after 2 years. And it's just looking great. Now, my very first tree that I planted in my garden is my weeping willow. I got this as a gift from my friend Robbie, and it is, holy cow, you guys. This tree is almost exactly 3 years old, and it is so incredibly, it is so beautiful. It is so, so beautiful. And I have to say, this was the first year that I went in and thinned it out and pruned it, and it was, oh my gosh, it made all the difference in the world. This tree is just stunning. It's so pretty. I'm so happy to have it here. It's so gorgeous. And the only thing I'm sad about again is I'm sad that it is deciduous and it loses all its leaves in the winter time, because I really miss this. So that's why I really need a better hedge, you know, an evergreen hedge over here just to kind of block the street. But you can see my spring statue all around the willow. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Yeah. So this was a total success. I love it. It is, oh, just one of the most beautiful trees in my garden. Coming over to my long border, you can see I have more Podocarpus. There's a Podocarpus there, and there. So those are going to get nice and big and beautiful. This is a pink velour crepe myrtle. This one only gets 8 to 10 feet tall, so it's pretty much full grown at this point. I am going to limb it up from the bottom and make it look more like a lollipop, but that's more like a large shrub, I guess I would say. I don't think I would consider that a tree. This guy right here, this is, I can never remember the name of this because Jason made a joke and called it a Miley Cypress one year. And it got, that stupid joke got stuck in my head. I have to, like Jason admits, it's a stupid joke. That's just one of his dad jokes. Anyway, it's a lemon cypress, but it's not, I'll try and find it. Basically, it's a Monterey cypress, a lemon Monterey cypress. I don't think it's a Wilma, but it's something like that. But this one has grown so fast and so quickly, and I don't trust this tree at all. I have to say, I don't trust it at all. I feel like it grew so fast that it didn't root in well, and I feel like in a windstorm, it's going to fall over. I'm kind of nervous about it. A couple of you guys gave me a really good recommendation about this plant and told me to stop watering it so that it would extend its root system down. And I think that's a really good idea. And I haven't gotten around to removing the drip irrigation from it, but I definitely think I'm going to do it. But if you want a fast growing tree and don't care about the stability, this is a really, really beautiful and great option. But like, I would never plant this as a hedge because I feel like they would fall over and ruin your hedge. You know what I mean? And you can see there's spider webs on this too. More of those spiders. So it's just that time of year. Okay, just a couple more. Here you can see I'm a little bit further along the long border. I have another Podocarpus here. This is a star magnolia, which is technically a tree, I guess, but yeah, it's technically a tree. It gets up to 10 feet tall. It's looking really good. Another Podocarpus, and then this one I've been raving about all year. This is my Traveler's Weeping Redbud. This one is only supposed to get, I thought it got taller than this, but my notes right here say it only gets about 5 feet tall. And so it's pretty much done growing. It's probably about 6 feet, a little over 6 feet tall, I would say right now. This is the most beautiful specimen tree, you guys. If you want to just fit a redbud somewhere, look for the Traveler's Weeping Redbud. It is so beautiful, and the glossy leaves and the green color, it's just like a neutral green color. I can't believe how much I'm enjoying this tree. It's really, really beautiful. And another redbud that I really love is this Merlot redbud. Now this Merlot redbud has more growing to do. It'll get 10 to 15 feet tall. I guess it's pretty, gosh, the more I'm looking at these trees, the more I'm thinking like, that's almost full height there. I mean, that's pretty darn close to 15 feet. I would say it's probably like 12 feet tall at this point. But 10 to 15 feet tall, 10 to 15 feet wide. The really cool thing about this tree is in the fall and the winter, it gets these burgundy leaves. They're so beautiful. During the summer, they look more green. But once it starts getting cooler, they start getting that fall color, which is, you know, obviously I'm always looking for that in my garden. And this one is a really, really pretty redbud, gorgeous redbud. It does lose its leaves, but it's, you know, it blooms, what am I trying to say? It blooms in the spring, just like all redbuds do, very, very early in the spring. And then it gets that gorgeous burgundy leaves that first start coming out. And it's beautiful. So last but not least for the tree tour today, I have to talk about the strawberry tree, or the arbutus. I feel like I'm always mispronouncing that name, but I think it's arbutus. It is Such a cool tree, you guys. So this is another one that is an evergreen for hot climates. If you see this tree with the beautiful bark, it's got this kind of strawberry manzanita-like bark with the peeling, you would think, oh, well, there's the winter interest for this tree. No. It keeps its beautiful leaves all winter long, and it's just really gorgeous. It has beautiful berries. Here's the berries that people do complain about. They say it gets a little messy, but honestly, it never bothers me. And then it does get these beautiful kind of bell looking flowers. Really gorgeous. Oh, here's this is not a good example, but you can kind of see what the flowers look like. It's just a really, really pretty tree. So this one will get 15 to 30 feet tall and 15 to 30 feet wide. So you can see all my trees, they do, although they're getting up to the right height, they're still going to get a little bit bigger and a little bit fuller, which is exactly what my property needs. My property is it's like one flat square acre. So it needs some interest like this, and it needs a little bit, it needs a little height, little variation, and I think these trees are going to give it over the next couple years as they continue to grow in. So anyway, a strawberry tree is a really fantastic option for a tree in your garden. Don't be afraid when people say they're messy. I don't think they're that messy. I've had this tree for 2 years, and I haven't thought once about cleaning up underneath it. It's really, really a beautiful tree. And then, of course, I have my beautiful Chinese pistache that was here when we moved in, and I've always said Chinese pistache is my favorite tree. And it's so funny because I was so distracted in looking at the house and looking at the garden, I didn't even notice that we had this beautiful Chinese pistache here in the garden. And it was just a really, really happy accident when I finally realized that it was the Chinese pistache. I actually had an arborist come over and talk about trees, and then he was like, yeah, that's a Chinese pistache. And I thought, oh my gosh. We also have some mature olive trees here. Just really, really beautiful specimens that were already here. Some of them that were already here. We did have palm trees when we first moved in, and those were the ones that I did remove because I didn't want palm trees in my garden, which I know is funny because I know we live in California and you think palm trees, but I live in Northern California. Palm trees are more of a Southern California type of thing, just so you guys know. So I am a NorCal girl, Northern California girl. So anyway, that is it. There's an update 3 years in on this garden for my trees. A lot of them are doing amazing. Some of them are struggling, but that's to be expected. I'll give you all more information about our trip to England, but I can see the girls looking at me through the window. So that's probably a sign that they have questions or I got to get good. They're just excited, which I'm excited too. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you, that person who left a comment about doing a tree tour. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.